Hey guys, Disloader Magic here, and there's an lot of powerful cards coming up in MH3. Here's one of them, Ocelot Pride. It's a 1-drop, 1/1 lifelink cat, except they added First Strike and Ascend. There's been an lot of power creep lately too. So if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game, and then at the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. Then, if you have the City's Blessing, for each token you control that enter the battlefield this turn, create a token that's a copy of it. So that's not even isolated to, the cat tribal. I'm not going to say typal, I never will, shut up. Oh, this doubles any token. At all. And by the way, did you just hear me say creature token? Because if you did, you heard wrong. So you do have to gain life because it's at the beginning of your end step. If you gained life this turn, blah, 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 then basically clone all tokens that enter the battlefield this turn. Still, not the hardest thing to do in a white-oriented deck. So this is insane. Pre-ordering at $50 in case you were wondering, and the special versions are upwards of $80. I wonder why that could be. Have it stick in the battlefield with no self-protection. Then you have to have 10 total permanents in play. Then you have to drop in a token, and then that token has to make it to your end step. So, this isn't like a given, it's not like an automatic, but, if you can get all those things to happen, some decks, this would really break it. So, moving on from Mega Cat, we got Urza's Incubator. This is an interesting one. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures, spells of the chosen type cost 2 less to cast. Now, that can only reduce the generic portion of the cost, but at the same time, who gives a crap? The other 99% of the time, your tribal creatures just cost 2 less, which is absolutely absurd. Now, of course, this is a reprint from Urza's Destiny, and that version of the card is $38. It's been printed a couple more times. It was actually in Dominaria Remastered for $33. Never really went down. In fact, there's not that many in stock on TCG Player or Card Kingdom. So that's actually kind of a welcome sight to see, but it's not going to disrupt anything, although we've had cards get printed in, Modern Masters 2, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, that's a card? It's like, do you know how to use search? And then all of a sudden people start playing it just because it was, brought to their attention. So, don't count out that factor either. But next up, we got Shattered Landscape. This one's interesting. There's a whole cycle of these. You can bring it in untapped, tap it for actual colorless, but then you can sack it and search your library for a basic mountain, plains, or swamp. And then, like I said, there's different versions of different colors. And then it has cycling, where you have to pay one of each color, we'll just call it, because they're all different. And then you can ditch this card and draw the next card off your library. So they've even power crept Evolving Wilds and made it an Eldrazi Evolving Wilds. My gosh. Next up, a new Ghost in the Shell TV anime has been announced for 2026. What does that have to do with anything in this video? Nothing. It's just the best anime ever. You thought it was Outlaw Star or .hack, didn't you? Oh no. No, Ghost in the Shell's got it. Next up, we've got Monstrous Vortex. Now, this is a brand new card. It's only pre-ordering at $1, probably because it's an uncommon, but get this, okay? 4-drop green enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. I think if you were to do a Hydra deck, you would want to play this because I think the X counts when it's assessed like this. I might be wrong, but if you're just running big boys, oh, wow, that is a 2-for-1 special. Discover is pretty much his mini Cascade. It was very recent, so I probably don't really need to explain how it works. But yeah, that card's bonkers. That's one of the only uncommons I'm covering here. I'm sure there's other ones, but this set has 1,000 cards in it. It's all unbalanced towards the mythics and rares, and it's pretty much just a giant financial scam, in my opinion. They're just making it more and more expensive to collect the game, raising the price while giving you less. Thanks, Watsy. So next up, Branching Evolution. So this is a reprint, but if you haven't seen it, it's a 3-drop green enchantment. Whenever one or more 1/1 counters will be put on a creature you control, twice that many 1/1 counters are put on that creature instead, which, let me just remind you, Hardened Scales is a thing, which already ups it by 1. And as far as I know, the rule states that if 2 simultaneous triggers go off on your turn, you get to order the order that they go in. I'd have to check this interaction. I'm not sure what card would have the ruling, but yeah, you could +1, then double it from there. A little bit crazy there, a little bit nuts. Next up, Ugin's Binding. I didn't know he was in this set. I don't think Watsy knew he was in this set. So it's a 3-cost instant devoid, which I think means it's just like considered colorless or something. I don't know, it's been a while. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Then whenever you cast a colorless spell with mana value 7 or greater, you may exile Ugin's Binding from your graveyard. When you do, return each non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Yep, cast your first Fat Boy and everything else disappears. That can be a really nice ability. Next up, Lion Umbra, another brand new Umbra here. It's a 2-cost double green, devotion, aura that says enchant modified creature. So it already has to be modified, which means it has to have equipment equipped, an aura attached, or counters. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has vigilance and reach, and then Umbra armor. If an enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura instead. This is an extremely powerful card, but I think that restriction is going to lower its playability, except in the right type of decks. Next up, we got Stone Idol Generator. It's a 5-drop colorless artifact. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you get 1 energy. Then if you tap it, pay 6 energy, create a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample. Wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Oh yeah, Stone Idol Trap. It's an old World Wake rare. It's an instant trap. This costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. That's right, you activated my trap card. And yeah, it just brings out a 6/12 and then you exile it at the beginning of your next end step. This one, it keeps it out there. This is the original generator of the trap used in World Wake, I guess. I think I should point out that this is from the Commander deck, but at the same time, who cares? Does anybody really care about the legality of this? Or y'all just throwing these in your Commander decks? Like, come on. Next up from the Commander deck as well, in fact I think all the rest of these are, it's Aurora Shifter. It's a 2-cost blue 1/3 shapeshifter. This thing is nuts. Whenever Aurora Shifter deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy counters. Hello. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 2 energy, I don't know if they're considered counters, 2 energy, whatever. When you do, this creature becomes a copy of another target creature you control, except it has this ability and the same on-hit thing. So you can just keep turning into the better and better creatures. Now, how do you hit them the first time, though? That's the problem. How does a 1/3 with no flying or nothing, no unblockable hit them? I don't know. But still, cloning, that's like my favorite thing in all of Magic. Next up, we got Silver Quill Lecturer, of course, also from the Commander deck. It's a 5-cost 3/3 in white core wizard creature. And creature spells you cast have demonstrate. What? Let me run that by you. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Each copy becomes a token. So you get 2, they get 1, and you're probably running tribal. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to offend anyone. I meant typo. You can typo my nuts. Type your way onto the subscribe button if you want an actual conservative Magic creator who doesn't take any shit from the left. Next up, hey, they finally added a Gundam to the set. It's Salvation Colossus, an 8-cost 9/9 double white artifact creature construct with flying, vigilance, and trample. You thought I was kidding. And whenever you attack, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain indestructible until end of turn. And then unearth, pay 8 freaking energy, which is basically nothing. I mean, it's not, the easiest thing in the world to generate that much. And there's not that many cards supporting it, but damn. I bet in the next 3 years we're going to see, 1, bankruptcy, but then 2, maybe, if not that, a standard set that straight up just uses energy again. Now, it would make a lot more sense if we returned to I already forgot the name. Space India. I don't know. Everybody just calls it Space India. Whatever Kaladesh. There you go. Now, most people actually don't know this, by the way. Kaladesh in the Indian language means cultural appropriation Space India. So that was actually kind of cool that they named it that. But anyway, Giant Indian Space Gundam. Let's go. Next up, Party Thrasher. It's a 2-cost 1/4 creature, lizard wizard. They finally did it. Oh, main set release, not Commander deck. We got non-creature spells you cast from exile have Convoke. I think that kind of works a little bit with Eldrazi, but I think it's standalone because, well, let me just read the second part. By the way, Capenna clothing, really? More lost Capenna artwork. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may discard a card. If you do, exile the top 2 cards of your library, then choose one of them. You may play this card this turn. That's what they mean by exile. The whole exile it, you have until the end of your next turn or whatever to play it. That's a big red thing. So this is actually pretty darn useful. And then a 1/4 defensive red creature. Wouldn't that be something for once? Red could actually do something other than caveman rush tactics. Brainless Zerg garbage. Who am I kidding? This is too complex for a mono red player to play. I don't think it's going to be popular. Probably a 50-cent pre-order. And finally, Vexing Bauble. Oh, yes. Brand new card, uncommon, but oh boy. You guys know I love stuff like this. It's a 1-cost, colorless artifact. Anybody can run this. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. It's the mirror ball of you. Oh, you ain't free casting that crap in my game. No, you ain't free summoning an Eldrazi on turn 3 while I'm around. Then you can pay 1, tap it, sack it, and draw a card in case it's no longer useful. So, or if it's not relevant to who you're playing against, which means 100% auto-include in every single commander deck ever made until the end of time, the end. Remember, only you can prevent free casting. So that's all I got for today. We probably got some more tasty spoilers coming, so don't miss them. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.